Hi everyone, welcome at this Autodesk University Session 2021 class, and many thanks for joining us at this session wherever you are in the world. And by the way, do not hesitate to tell us where you are from in the chat area, for example. So I'm very pleased to run this class with some REVIT other experts that I will introduce in a couple of seconds, and we are happy to share our experience in Rebar with REVIT and how to speed up reinforcement detailings with our add-on. Just a little bit of myself. I've been working for Graitec now since a little bit more than 6 years. So I have a structural engineer background, and I'm part of the product management teams where we are working on all development running top of Autodesk platform and solutions. And I'm pleased to run this class with one other of my colleagues, Daniels. I'll let you say a word about you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you also for attending this class. My name is Daniel, and I'm part of Graitec Romania. I'm a structural engineer and also an Autodesk REVIT trainer. And I will show you some tips and tricks in REVIT regarding rebar detailing.
Thanks, Daniel. And especially for this class, we have the pleasure to have a special guest, one of our clients coming from Italy, Simone DBA, who will share his practice on real projects. Simone, I'll let you introduce you in a couple of words.
Hello, everybody. I just want to thank Autodesk and Graitec to let us to share our BIM experience in structural project. I'm an architect, BIM manager at DBA Group, a DBA Group company. I'm part of the BIM team, the BIM innovation team. I'm experience of 15 years in telecommunication, energy, and data center BIM design. Thank you.
Thanks, Simone. So one word about Graitec for those of you who do not know our company. So we are a worldwide software company with nearly 50 offices in the world, on North America region and on Europe, specialized in structural software, but we are proposing as well BIM services consultancy, and we are developing software solution from BIM model creation to BIM model analysis. Thanks to our design software we are developing. We are managing the fabrication as well for steel component and rebar with two other solutions. And we are going to the management of the project, the work in progress environment, and the publication to common data environment and Autodesk BIM platform, for example. So today we are here to specifically to talk about rebar and how manage rebar project in REVIT. Rebar is probably in BIM is probably one of the next challenge in our industry. So all people interested in how to create BIM model, including rebar in REVIT, how manage those models and manage the data, could follow this class from rebar detailer, rebar draftsman to BIM modeler or structural engineer. So how this class will go on? We will start with Daniel, who will show some tip and tricks on rebar in REVIT and how to speed up rebar modeling with our dedicated tools we develop in Graitec, so our Powerpack. And we will conclude this session with our guest, Simone from DBA Group, so an Italian company, who will present how they handle a very interesting and amazing project with REVIT and our Powerpack. So why we in Graitec we believe in 3D reinforcement, because since here we saw it as a significant added value for users and for many reasons. The consistency of the information of drawings, the standardization of the quality of the drawing for large organization using templates and standards, having also the possibility to go to design driven approach to generate rebar with the link to design software, the clash detection for fabrication, the automatic take bills of materials that we can generate through our software and link to a fabrication. All of these are possible thanks to the 3D reinforcement. The reason why we develop a specific application running top of REVIT, which is our Powerpack. It's large set of tools, more than 40 tools, purely focus on rebar detailings, and it's totally integrated in REVIT, and we will see the major command we have in action. We have plenty of wizards to quickly speed up the 3D rebar cage generations and manage as well the customization and fine-tuning reinforcement drawing. So as this class will be around between 30 and 40 minutes. We will have time at the end of this class to manage some questions, but please, if you have some question, you can place them in live, and we will try to manage them as they arrive in the chat area. So it's time to see those tools in action in live. I let the mic to Daniel, who will show in live those application of the Powerpack. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much, Stevens. I will go on and present the main tools of our Powerpack. Not before showing you some tips and tricks regarding rebar detailing in REVIT. So the first tip that I want to tell you about might sound a little bit redundant, but the first tip is upgrade your REVIT to the 2022 version, because plenty of upgrades have been implemented for rebar detailing. And let me show you a little bit what I'm talking about. In REVIT 2022, you are able to define rebar using 2 points, which is a very important implementation, because as you may know, interior stirrups and also rebar sets were usually a little bit hard to do. So now you have all the tools you need to speed up your whole process. Okay, so as you can see, I was able to easily generate some stirrups. I can drag them around, and also besides the two point placement, you are now able to move individual rebars from a rebar set in any position without losing the rebar set. Another implementation, very important. And not only move them, but you are also able to remove a rebar from a rebar set without losing the link between them. So upgrade as soon as possible, upgrade to the REVIT 2022 version. Now, further tips and tricks I would like to show you for REVIT detailer should be get advantage of using REVIT view templates. I usually use my view templates for rebar detailing, specifically for each element category. So I have view templates for columns, for beams, for walls, footings, and so on. They will help me also when I will show you further in my presentation the rebar drawing generator. Okay, so be sure to use the view templates, and also take advantage of the possibility to have them by element category. Now, also what I would like to show you is take advantage also of the possibility to personalize your rebar shapes. Now, most of my students, when I'm teaching REVIT, are using the default rebar shapes. And while this is not a wrong thing to do, you can speed up the modeling process by tweaking a little bit, tweaking a little bit the rebar shapes. Now, what I'm talking about usually for horizontal bars in a wall, the first thing you would like to do is place a straight bar with hooks or a 21 bar with 3 segments. Now, what I like to do in my project is to save another rebar shape family with a stirrup tie style, even if this rebar shape is still a straight bar with hooks. Now, why does this help me? Well, this will help me in modeling the bars, because if I would use standard bars for both of them of these bars, I will have a little bit of hard time to place them correctly. So it will help me also in the modeling part, because I can place the stirrup, okay, the horizontal bars, and then the vertical bars, the standard bars will automatically be placed near the stirrup bar. And also this will help me further when I will generate the wall drawings. Okay, so a small part regarding my tips and tricks in Revit. Now I would like to show you what we are doing here at Graitec and what our Powerpack for Revit is capable of. Now, we are developing a lot of tools. Most of them are dedicated to the structural engineer and generating, managing, and also detailing the rebars. But we also have a lot of tools dedicated to architects or MEP engineers, which I will not present during this demo. But what I would like to show you is that we are able to create, also using some efforts coming from different structural analysis softwares. We are able to generate rebar cages automatically. So let me show you how we can generate a column rebar cage. Just as a simple example. Now, we are able to generate columns, rebar cages, or rebar cages for columns, for beams, for walls, for footings. And also they are fully customizable. So you can change basically anything about them. The stirrup layout, the diameters, the hooks, if you want hooks or not. You can change them basically at any point, and also they are fully in a link with the report, with a design report that you can generate after you customize your rebar cage. So we are able to generate rebar cages, and we have an entire Revit tab dedicated to this. But also we have an entire Revit tab dedicated to managing and also detail rebars in Revit. So let me show you just a little example, a typical case where you have 2 columns, and of course you need to split the rebars at the top of the first column. Now, what you should by default do, you should basically change each rebar set in this column. We sped up the process a little bit, and we developed a crank tool that will automatically crank the rebars in order to avoid some collision. So let me show you. Okay, so all the rebars have been automatically cranked, and now I have no collisions between my rebars very, very fast. Okay. Also, we are able to split rebars when you have openings in the floor. So let me show you a little bit just to find that opening. Okay, so an opening should be, oh, okay, I don't have the openings, no problem. I can very quickly, I will model an opening. Okay, so in this case, typically I should start and drag the rebar sets around, but using Powerpack, I'm able to automatically split the rebars around the opening. Okay, great. And not only that I'm able to automatically split the rebars around the opening, but I'm also able to generate an opening rebar cage also from a parametrical point of view. Okay, everything looks just fine. Yeah, I have a 3D rebar cage in a matter of seconds. Okay, also we are able to place bending details. There are some symbols that some countries are using for detailing the rebars, something like this. Okay, or automatically also. We are able to generate reinforcement schedules. We are managing the layers. We basically have a tool for in order to speed up any rebar process. Now, of course, when you are done modeling rebars, you need to start to detail them. So for the last version of the Powerpack, we developed a new drawings generator. So let me show you how that works. Now, of course, I have some settings done in the back. But basically, what I like to show is that we are able to generate automatically some rebar drawings, and also the drawings are placed on a sheet, and also the sheet is containing the rebar schedule. So not only that we are speeding up the process of generating rebar or modeling the rebars, but we are also speeding up the process of generating the drawings. Now let me show you how that looks like. Okay, so here I have a node detail for that wall. Okay, each node detail, and also the plan view of the wall. Now, of course, everything is customizable. You can generate the drawings without these bending details, but basically, I think you got the point. You can in a matter of seconds you can generate some drawings. Let me show you how a beam looks like. So here I have a full beam. Okay, I can select it. We have some alignment algorithms that are verifying if all the beams are aligned, and then it will treat them as a group. So I will have a full beam elevation with each bending detail and sections that I want. Okay, takes a little bit of time because I have a rather long beam with with multiple rebar sets, and each of them need to be annotated with using multi-rebar annotation, and also bending details. What I like to say about this drawing generator is that it was fully designed to be linked with the user's Revit template. So it will use your view templates, your multi-rebar annotation tags, title blocks, rebar schedules. Basically, it will fit on your template as a glove. So let me show you how it looks like. So I got the beam elevation automatically, the bending details at the bottom. Then again, as I said, you cannot generate them if these bending details are not used in your country. And also, I have each section through the beam. Sorry. Okay. And also, we developed a multi-rebar tag for single bars, so for bars that were not distributed and that are not rebar sets. So okay. Okay, then again, we are able to generate drawings for beams, for columns, for walls, for footings, and we plan to develop a tool also for detailing floors and slabs. Great. This is what I wanted to show you. I would like to say thank you again, and I hope that the information that was presented here will be useful and will speed up your rebar detailing projects. Thank you again.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Stevens. And then just talk about our BIM experience in the extension of the electrical substation for a structural bulk detailing project. First of all, thank you again to Graitec and Autodesk for giving us the opportunity to share our BIM experience, and just a few words about our company. DBA Group is an independent holding specialized in architectural, engineering, and project management services, and DCT solution focus on building and infrastructure and mission-critical facilities lifecycle management. 2020's services and products are about 70 million euros. We have more than 400 active clients, and then more than 600 skilled professionals in the group. We operate in Italy and outside of Italy with headquarters in 14 headquarters in Italy and 11 abroad. Our BIM team is composed by BIM manager, coordinator, specialists for architectural, structural, and map design. And in Italy, we are involved in the development of Italian national BIM specification. Here on the left, we can see our activity sector for BIM project, as for telco and media, buildings, transport and logistics, and so on. And today I'm going to show you our experience in the energy and the utilities sector, because we are just going to talking about the extension of a power plant in a project power plant in Italy for structural detailing. So just a few project in information. The site is in north of Italy, in the nearby the border between Italy and Austria, and this is the site. And these are some main information of the project. So the project phase is detailing the design stage, that is a rebar for project. The existing power plant area is about 6,000 square meters, and the extension project area is about 2,300 square meters. Here on the site plan, we can see on the left with the green color the existing area, and on the red the extension for the installation of the 3 new electrical equipment. And this is the general master plan. So here on the left with the green area, we can see the electromechanical existing power plant, and on the right with the red color, the extension of the new area that will be assigned for the installation of the 3 new reactors. So which are for this kind of project the main target from the client? First of all, there's this survey for terrain excavation project, and then to deliver the terrain containment structural design, and then to have the structural and map distribution design for the installation of 3 new 220 kilowatts ampere reactor that are in this area. So we need to realize structural infrastructure for the installation of 3 new reactors. Then the BIM target, obviously the 3D modeling for structure and map installation. Then the 2D drawings delivery for structural detailing, especially for structural detailing for the quantity takeoff and tender requirement. And then as the last question from the client, we need to, as a final output for the 5D, so the quantity takeoff and cost estimation project from the BIM models. And what about the BIM software implementation for this kind of structural project? So as an input, we just started with the survey with the total station instrument for the existing terrain. Then for BIM modeling, we use Autodesk Civil 3D for terrain modeling, Autodesk REVIT and Graitec Advanced Powerpack for structural, and the guided plugin for rebar modeling and the rebar detailing. Then for steel modeling, that is part of this project, we use Autodesk Advanced Steel, and then to manage project information and some specific rebar modeling, we used Dynamo for with design script. Then for 2D detailing, we use REVIT for concrete element, and then for total rebar detailing and sheet producing schedules management, we use the Graitec Advanced Powerpack. Instead, for steel elements, we use Autodesk Advanced Steel. Finally, for just a final request from the client, for quantity takeoff, we use REVIT for preliminary quantity takeoff, and then for final quantity takeoff and cost estimation document, we use a software that is called STR Revision CPM that is FC compliant, in which we use the FC directly exported from the BIM models in Revit. So let's start with the BIM workflow. For the survey, we just use a total station instrument for the site survey that give us as an output the TXT file with all the information about the survey points. In this case, we imported the TXT file with all the information in the Autodesk Civil 3D software that can help us to have the surface of the 3D terrain modeling for the existing terrain. So in this case, we can see here that this is the surface of the existing terrain, and we can see on the left with the existing electrical power plant area in green, and in red the new reactor area. These two areas are in the different levels. So using Autodesk Civil 3D, we managed the terrain movement and terrain excavation for cost estimation document and the permit. Then we use the surface that have been transformed in a solid, and via IFC we just imported in FC 243 in Revit as the project base for the structural project for the new substation extension. And these are the main model of the project. So for this project, specifically for this project, we have 4 separated models for each part. So we have structural perimeter walls, the reactor foundation, that is the main core of the project, the terrain containment model, and the oil separator box for facility management of the reactors. All these models have been joined into one single federated model that can help us to share the work in progress modeling with the client, to have the final quantity takeoff, and then in Navisworks to have beam coordination for clash detection and the reports. So let's start with the beam workflow for structural modeling. For this kind of project, we need to produce a specific REVIT family on our own. So in this case, we need to have a parametric object, parametric family, for which we have to define geometrical parametrics data, and to assign for each category, for each type of element, a specific property set assigned for all our workflow. In some case, we just linked in the types information in REVIT all the information about, for example, data sheets and the documentation directly to the producer. For example, this is a tie roads inquiry for the length consolidation that we have modeled as a REVIT family. And on the right, we can see that this is a standard properties panel of Revit, where we can see all the information and the parametric information as for dimension and so on that we just inserted in this kind of family to help us modeling and detailing this kind of project. This is instead another part of the project. This is the structural part for terrain containment that is realized with steel pipes and structural reinforced concrete wall. In this case, we can see just starting talking about the rebar detailing. So in this case, we can see that this structural wall for terrain containment, we have assigned for this kind of element all the rebar elements as we can see here on the right. So in this case, we have all the rebar elements that have been assigned to the reinforced concrete top curb. In this case, we can see also the pipes, steel pipes element, and the steel connection for this kind of project. But talk about the top cabs. So in this case, we can see that for this kind of top cabs, we just use the rebar family that we have personalized for our business. So in this case, we can see that we have some types information in Revit that can help us manage some information about the bar diameter, the standard band diameter, the standard hook, and so on. And then we have some specific instances information as for the rebar set, the information about each element of rebar and each segment of the rebar that in Italy for this kind of project are really important, because we need to have the detailing of each rebar, especially for the construction phases, because we need to develop all the rebar detailing, as we are going to show in the next slide. So in this case, this kind of information, as instance information, are really important, and we just use the Graitec Advanced Powerpack to manage all this kind of information and to have assured the information exchange for the construction phase. In this with this workflow, that is very important in this kind of structural project for our client, we just have a beam design automation that in case of variation the project on changes, we can automatically have sheets and drawings updated with this kind of detail. And this is one of the most important things, because our client come back to us asking for changes and variation. And this is the example of the structural model of the reactor. So in this case, this part of the project is realized with structural foundation and structural fire-resistant wall in reinforced concrete. As we can see here, for each element in transparency, we have assigned the rebar element using the Graitec Powerpack plugin that can help us to manage all the rebar information and modeling. And this is the final output of the total rebar of this part of the project. And on the left, we can see some information about the rebar. So for this part of the project, we had rebar elements for a total about of 3,000, a rebar weight of 6.5 roughly tons, and we use this kind of information, this kind of 3D visualization with schedules and sheets to have the final rebar quantity takeoff for cost estimation. And this is one of the part of the project. This is a zoom in of the structural foundation for the reactors. And from this kind of element, for example, this is a section, but we can see that for each element, for each rebar element, we just have the parametric information as for the position, the diameters, the number of similar elements, the total lengths, and so on, that we can extract for each rebar element. Then managing and using the parameters data that we have for each rebar and helping us with the Graitec Advanced Powerpack, we can automatically generate, as Daniel was saying before, this kind of details to insert in the sheet. So it's most important because in this kind of detail we can see all the information about position and so on, but all the information about the single element of the rebar as for length and diameter and so on. This is the most important because in this case, for the construction phase, the producer need to have this kind of information, and we can update this kind of detail automatically using the Graitec plugin. So at the beginning of the project, or this structural project, we need to have this kind of information as for schedules, where we can read information about bar length, shapes, bar volume, bar weight, and so on, that we can manage and automatically update or change in case of variation. So especially for the construction phase. So in this case, we just find in the Graitec Advanced Powerpack the useful instrument to manage this kind of information, sheets, and project documentation that was appreciated by the client. Instead, this is another part of the project. In this case, this is the oil separator box that is realized with structural foundation and wall reinforced concrete. In this case, the same. We have model and use in the Powerpack all the rebar elements for this kind of project. And on the left, we can see some information about the final output. So we have for example, 1.2 thousand elements and the total rebar weight of 3.2 tons that we use for rebar quantity takeoff. And so this is another example. But which is the final output? So that was the modeling, and this is the final output. In this case, this is an example of one of the 75 sheets that we have produced for the structural project, where we can see that on the right we can see a detail, a zoom in. So here we have a section on the oil separator box, where we can see that we have all the information about the rebar as for position, total length, number of several elements, the length of each segment. That is the most important information for the construction phase, because in Italy we need this kind of information for the permit for the structural permit too. And then this is another example. In this case, this is the foundation of the oil separator box that is all combined with the rebar elements. And for each rebar elements, we can extract and manage all the information as for the position, the dimension, and so on. Another example, another zoom in is this, that for the Graitec Powerpack, we can automatically produce this kind of detail with the shapes of each rebar and all this kind of information that is the most important things for the construction phase. So we can manage all information for each rebar that can be automatically detailed and in case of variation updated with this kind of final overview. This is another example of the reactors area. This is another sheets, structural sheets, and here the same. We can see that for each rebar element, this is section on the reactor's foundation and the structural fireproof the wall. We can extract information about the rebar as for shapes, position, dimension, single element, and so on. Then this is another application that we use in our company, because for Italian permit, for structural permit, we need to attach to the technical specification, to technical report, a series of information about the structure. So in this case, with this kind of schedule from REVIT, we can directly extract information in various formats as for TXT, directly in Excel, COS, and so on, that can help us to manage this kind of information for the technical final report for structural permit. And then this is another example of the use of this kind of workflow. So in this case, the client just asked us to have the cost estimation document, so the 5D documentation directly extracted from the BIM model. So in this case, we use the software that is called STR Revision GPM, that is FC compliant, and we have imported the FC file. For example, this is the FC file of the oil separator box, that we can see that for the bar elements, we have always the same information and the correct FC type assigned, that in this case, the FC reinforcing bar. So in this case, we can see that we have no loss of information, uses this kind of workflow with the Powerpack. Then with the quantity takeoff in this kind of software, we can assign a price article to the quantity, to the extracted quantity takeoff, and we can automatically generate the final cost documentation for the tender and for the quotation. Then finally, just to show our final workflow, we just published all the sheets work in progress with the client using the Autodesk BIM Call Operate Pro. In this case, so in the BIM 360 platform, we just share the sheets, and selecting all the elements as for the bar elements, we can see that we have all the same information. And this is, I think personally, that this is one of the most important things, because in this kind of project, the most important thing is to have no loss of information in this kind of project. So starting from REVIT, using the Powerpack plugin in IFC, we have no loss of information to share in our internal team or with the client. And this is it. So in conclusion, starting at the beginning of this project, we just need to find a solution for our company to upgrade the possibility to facilitating the reinforcing bar modeling, the reinforced 3D modeling for the bar for the reinforced concrete element. The solution was identified in the Graitec Powerpack plugin that help us to manage the 3D modeling of the rebars, the schedules, producing sheets and detail for the rebar modeling, especially in case of variation, because we can automatically update and manage this kind of information sheets and so on. And so the final benefit using this Graitec Powerpack have been to increase the control over 3D rebar modeling for this kind of structural project, the possibility to reduce the time of updating and publishing the sheets, because we know in this kind of project time needs money, and increasing both graphic and non-graphic information that can be extracted directly from the BIM models. So this is our experience. Thank you again to Stevens and Daniel to make us the possibility to give us the possibility to share our BIM experience structural project. Thank you.
Thanks, Simone, for this nice presentation and very interesting project. I think we all appreciate. I'd like to thank all the attendees. I hope you enjoy this session as well. Do not hesitate to follow us on social network, our both company, DBA Group and Graitec and Autodesk as well, on our social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. And as well, if you have any question regarding this, you can contact us as well on LinkedIn, on our social media. Hope you enjoy this class. Have a nice Autodesk University event, and thanks to all of you again.